Well, somebody had to write up a plan, and with the help of other air pollution and water ecosystem people, we undertook to develop a plan to establish a permanent network to measure spatial and temporal trends in the chemistry of precipitation in as many parts of this country as we could. We were working in North Carolina, so we started in North Carolina, and Walter Heck and Art and Lawrence Apple were among the people who encouraged me to write up a plan, and we did that. And Mr. J.C. Williamson was the director of our agricultural research service here at North Carolina State, and he was aware of a requirement of the Hatch Act, which supports much of the agricultural research in our state and all across the country. He thought a quarter of the funds were required in the Hatch Act itself to be used for regional projects of interest to more than one institution. And he believed that regional should include national. We were proposing a national network that would measure precipitation chemistry in all the different states and in all the different regions of our country with all the different kinds of atmospherically relevant activities which were going on: power plants, agricultural operations, hog farming. Jim Galloway, one of our guys, he was always very proud that he had the name Galloway, and there was a special breed of beef that were Galloway beef. And so anyway, it was fun to look at animal contributions to atmospheric chemistry and human contributions. There's a pneumonia anomaly over every city of the world. There's a pneumonia anomaly over every barn that houses any animals either. So anyway, those are among the things that were interesting. Jim Galloway was crucially important, and the cooperation, the interest that he took, and he was a colleague of Gene Likens, who also had become inspired, and he had visited with Svante Odin, and another Canadian scientist also. And within about a 6-month period, all three of us came to be inspired by the recommendation that came out of this first international symposium on acid precipitation in forest ecosystems. And so we, each in our own way, began. I was assigned by Waltech and Lawrence Apple to develop a proposal for a regional project which was first accepted in the north central region of our country. And then it later grew to be an interregional project. And eventually all 4 regions of the country joined together to make what is now NADP. The proposal which I crafted was deficient in many ways. It was considered to be deficient in many ways, but had some very good ideas, and those ideas were placed before an interagency task force that evaluated the adequacy of what we had written down, and it was consistent with Mr. Williamson's idea that regional meant really national as well, and so eventually that an interregional project, but it began in the north central region, spread to an interregional one, and is now the National Atmospheric Deposition Program. Our proposal was put forward in the form of NC, North Central Regional Project number 141, and that proposal was evaluated by the National Science Foundation, by the Department of Energy, and the U.S. Geological Survey, by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, and all of them saw the merit of the idea of having a long-term record of changes in precipitation chemistry across time and space in the country. So that process really began in response to Odin's original presentations, which were made in the very early parts, 1970, 72, and the international conference was held in 1975, but by 1978, 3 years later, after many consultative groups said, this idea is on the right track. We ought to do this, and we ought to involve scientists, agricultural science, forest scientists, limnologists, people who study lakes, fish biologists. We all ought to join together in supporting developing a background of information about changes in precipitation chemistry. We were studying the chemical climate of the Earth, at least in the United States. There was a similar program in Canada, which developed earlier, and we immediately seized on the opportunity of working together with the Canadian people who already had a network of some significance, and we built what is now a solid connection between Canadian scientists working in very many different disciplines and U.S. scientists.